Have you ever wondered who or what created God? This question is almost inevitable at some point in life. The answer we usually receive is the same. There is no explanation. But what if there was more to the story? At Premonition, we delve deep into these profound questions, exploring hidden truths that challenge conventional beliefs and expand our understanding of the divine. Childhood curiosity and religious teaching. As a child, I was deeply immersed in the teachings of Christianity, and like many others, I was often confronted with the concept of God's existence. The explanation I encountered most often was simple yet profound. God simply exists, beyond the bounds of human understanding. This explanation, while comforting, left me with more questions than answers. If God is beyond comprehension, then why was I taught to seek Him with my mind, heart, and soul? Why should I attempt to understand something so fundamentally unknowable? I began to wonder, what if this assumption that God is beyond understanding is just the surface of a much deeper truth? What if the capacity for understanding divine mysteries was within reach, if only we dared to look beyond what we've been told? Unveiling suppressed knowledge. In my search for answers, I began to realize that the full truth had been veiled, suppressed deliberately by those in positions of religious power. The pursuit of understanding, it seemed, was not always encouraged by the institutions that claimed to guide people toward enlightenment. I became increasingly aware of the countless pieces of knowledge that had been hidden, silenced, and sometimes even destroyed, simply because they contradicted the prevailing narrative. I wondered, why were certain questions avoided so fervently? Were the answers so dangerous that they had to be buried? As I ventured deeper into this journey of exploration, I uncovered astonishing revelations that forced me to confront the possibility that the truth I sought had always been right in front of me, yet purposefully obscured. Hidden teachings in early Christianity. What if, in the early days of Christianity, some of the most profound teachings had been deliberately hidden from the masses? This thought began to take root in my mind. I learned of a time when certain Christian communities preserved sacred texts that were eventually branded as heretical. These early writings were systematically erased from history, removed from the canon of Scripture, and their existence dismissed by religious authorities. Among them was a collection of teachings that hinted at a radically different understanding of the divine, one that wasn't shaped by the institutions of power. These texts offered answers to questions that most people hadn't even dared to ask. As I explored their contents, I found that these writings did not simply challenge the status quo. They exposed a truth that ran counter to everything I had been taught. The Secret Gospel of John, a radical perspective. One of the most striking revelations came from the discovery of the Secret Gospel of John. This text, a sacred manuscript thought to have been lost to time, offers a vision of God and creation that is radically different from the traditional narrative. In stark contrast to the image of God as an old man with a long beard, the Secret Gospel of John paints a picture of a much more complex and dynamic divine figure. It speaks of a God who is not distant, but deeply intertwined with the fabric of creation, a God who embodies both light and darkness in ways that are difficult to comprehend through the lens of mainstream religious teachings. This text challenges our conventional understanding of divinity, urging us to consider that the image of God we have been taught might be only a fragment of a much grander reality. The Bible's contradictions about God. Throughout the Bible, God is presented as the one true supreme being, whose authority demands unwavering worship and obedience. Yet, as I delved deeper into the Scriptures, a troubling question began to emerge. Why does God feel the need to constantly reaffirm His supremacy? Why is there such a continuous insistence on His absolute authority? Why would an omnipotent being need to go to such lengths to eliminate the notion of other gods? These contradictions seem too significant to ignore. If God is truly all-powerful, why does he feel threatened by the possibility of competing forces? What if the God we are taught to revere is not the ultimate being, but rather a guardian of a much deeper, more profound truth, one that has been deliberately concealed from us? The secret gospel of John's shocking revelation. Then came the secret gospel of John, which unveiled a shocking and profound revelation. The God described in traditional religious narratives, the one who created the world and demanded unyielding worship, is not the supreme being at all. Instead, this God is depicted as a figure who holds humanity captive within the material world, bound by limitations and illusions. According to this gospel, true salvation does not come from submission to this Creator God, but rather from the pursuit of self-knowledge and enlightenment, discovering our true nature and understanding our place in the universe. This was a radical departure from everything I had been taught. The traditional path of obedience and reverence for the Creator was not the way to freedom. Instead, true liberation lay in knowing oneself and transcending the confines of material existence. The true essence of the divine. In the secret gospel of John, the divine is described as a being of pure light, flawless and transcendent. This divine essence is not something we can comprehend through earthly means, yet it is the key to our salvation. Perhaps the most astonishing aspect of this gospel lies in its portrayal of Jesus. Contrary to the traditional narrative, where Adam and Eve's consumption of the forbidden fruit is seen as an act of disobedience that led to humanity's fall, the secret gospel of John presents a radically different interpretation. Jesus is portrayed as encouraging humanity to partake in the knowledge of good and evil, the very knowledge that was thought to be the domain of Lucifer. This act of encouragement, according to the gospel, is not a fall from grace, but rather the first step toward humanity's liberation, a step toward a deeper understanding of the universe and our place within it. This reimagining of the story overturns everything I had ever been taught about sin and salvation. The Creator as a being of darkness? The secret gospel of John suggests that the God who created the world and its limitations may not be the true source of life and light. Instead, this Creator is a being of darkness who suppresses knowledge to maintain control over humanity. The gospel introduces the One, a formless, perfect being beyond this Creator, transcending all known concepts of divinity. This vision challenges traditional beliefs and reveals that the true essence of the divine is beyond religion and culture, waiting for us to transcend the material world. The journey to understanding God may not be through worship, but through self-discovery and breaking free from those who control our understanding of the universe. The truth has always been within us, awaiting revelation. The accidental creation of the biblical God. A startling revelation emerges from the depths of forbidden knowledge. The dark entity traditionally portrayed by the Church as God was not a self-created, omnipotent being, but rather the unintended product of an imbalance within the very essence of the One. This dark being, born of a flaw within the primordial unity, was the one responsible for creating the illusion we call the material world. But more than that, it was this entity that trapped fragments of the divine mind within physical bodies, thus giving rise to the existence of humanity. So who are these divine fragments? We are. According to this ancient and hidden text, every individual on this planet is a fragment of the divine, a spark from the infinite wellspring of the One. Each of us, in our deepest essence, is a particle of God, a reflection of the supreme unity that binds the universe together. We are not separate from divinity, but an intrinsic part of it, obscured by the illusion of physicality. The Church's rejection of this gospel. It is no surprise, then, that the Church rejected and condemned the secret Gospel of John. This Gospel directly challenges the hierarchy established by religious institutions by placing humanity on equal footing with the divine. If we are all fragments of God, then we are, in essence, divine ourselves. This concept threatens to dismantle the structure of control that has been carefully constructed over centuries, one that relies on the idea that humanity is inherently separate from and subservient to God. Returning to the original question, who or what created God? According to the secret Gospel of John, the biblical God was not created at all, but rather arose accidentally, a product of a flaw within the One. This dark, limited being then created the illusory world that traps divine fragments within it. In the grand scheme, the God we worship is a mere distortion, a product of a cosmic mistake, which the Church, in its desire to maintain power, worked tirelessly to suppress. The universe as a dream. Perhaps the most profound revelation of all lies in the nature of reality itself. According to the secret Gospel of John, the material world we inhabit is nothing but a dream, a projection within the mind of the One. This entire universe, with all its wonders and tragedies, is a temporary illusion, and we, the dreamers, have forgotten our true nature. We are caught in the dream of the One, experiencing a false reality created by the distortion within the divine essence. This concept mirrors the teachings of many mystical traditions, where reality is often described as an illusion, a veil that prevents us from seeing the true nature of existence. If everything is a dream, then everything we experience is both transient and impermanent. But the most unsettling question arises. If we are in a dream, who is dreaming us? Insights from other traditions. Kabbalah and Pythagoreanism. To gain further insight into these ideas, we must step beyond the boundaries of Christianity and delve into other spiritual traditions that have grappled with similar mysteries. One such tradition is Kabbalah, the esoteric system of Jewish mysticism. Kabbalah speaks of Ein Sof, the infinite mind that transcends all things and encompasses all potentialities. This idea of Ein Sof, a boundless consciousness, aligns closely with the teachings found in the secret Gospel of John. Both traditions describe a primordial unity that exists beyond comprehension, a source from which all existence emanates. In Kabbalah, this unity is the essence of all creation, the infinite potential that gives rise to all things. Much as the secret Gospel of John describes the One as the root of everything, the source of all that is and all that will be. The paradox of God, everything and nothing. One of the most fascinating concepts within Kabbalah is the tree of life, a diagram that represents both the descent of divinity into the physical world and the return of humanity to the divine. The material world, according to Kabbalistic thought, is an illusion, a mere reflection of higher spiritual truths. At the heart of this system lies the concept of Ein Sof, which Kabbalah describes as both everything and nothing. How can something be both? This paradox is echoed in the secret Gospel of John, which also presents the One as an entity that is simultaneously everything and nothing. The concept of divinity as both infinite and void, as an eternal source of all things and yet beyond any form of existence, challenges our limited understanding of God. It is in this very paradox that the true nature of the divine is revealed, not as a singular, isolated entity, but as the infinite space that contains all things and yet remains beyond them. Mathematics as the key to understanding. To deepen our understanding of this paradox, we must look to the work of ancient philosophers and mathematicians who sought to unlock the mysteries of existence through numbers. Pythagoras, for example, believed that reality itself was inherently mathematical. he and his followers revered a symbol known as the tetractys, a triangular arrangement of 10 dots that represented the fundamental structure of the cosmos. This simple shape contained within it the principle of harmony, balance, and unity. Intriguingly, the tetractys mirrors both the tree of life in Kabbalah and the concept of the one in the secret Gospel of John. These different esoteric systems seem to point toward the same fundamental truth, that the universe, in its deepest essence, is governed by mathematics, and that the divine can be understood as a perfect balance of forces, everything and nothing, form and formlessness, light and darkness. These paradoxes are not contradictions, but rather reflections of the ultimate truth of existence. The ultimate truth: we are God. When we step back and examine the threads that run through these various traditions, a profound realization begins to take shape. According to Kabbalah, the concept of God as both everything and nothing simultaneously is not a contradiction, but a reflection of the ultimate unity of the universe. In mathematical terms, everything equals nothing when all positive and negative values sum to perfect equilibrium 0. This concept of God as an infinite zero, a consciousness containing infinite information in perfect balance with nothingness, is a radical way of thinking about the divine. But perhaps the most astounding revelation of all is this: we are also this infinite zero. Every human being, every individual soul, is a unique expression of the divine spirit. We are not separate from God, but are an integral part of the divine symphony. Each of us is a note in the grand, eternal composition of existence. The ultimate answer: God was never created. The question of who or what created God finally finds its answer in the realization that God was never created at all. God does not need to be created because God is the self-sustaining void, the silent background upon which all existence resonates. God is the eternal principle, the infinite potential from which everything originates and to which everything returns. The idea of a created God is a projection of our limited understanding, a way of explaining the unexplainable. But the truth is far more profound. God is the source of all things, and yet God is beyond the limitations of form, time, and space. God is the infinite presence that exists outside of all creation, the ultimate principle that underlies the fabric of reality. A shift in perspective. Understanding that God is the infinite void, the absolute presence that contains everything and nothing, shifts our entire perspective on existence. The greatest secret of all is that we are God. We are not separate from the divine. We are the divine experiencing itself through countless forms. We are the creators and the creation, the architects and the masterpiece. This duality, the belief that we are both separate from and connected to the whole, creates the illusion of limitation. But in truth, we are infinite beings, momentarily experiencing a limited reality. The ultimate truth is that we are the dreamers, the dream, and the dreamer's mind, all in one. This realization is not just a revelation, it is the key to understanding our true nature and our place within the cosmos. The illusion of separation dissolves, and we are left with only one profound truth: we are God, and God is us. If these insights intrigue you, and you wish to continue exploring such mysteries, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss upcoming videos. Your participation is essential in bringing more profound and revealing reflections to light. Until next time.